Hello and welcome to my multimedia presentation. This presentation aims to give an overview of teaching a second year science class about Strand 5, the biological world. It will focus on an introduction to the circulatory system with a particular focus on the heart and would ideally be run over a double class period. The learning outcome related to this topic is number 4. Students should be able to describe the structure, function and interactions of the organs of the human digestive, circulatory and respiratory systems. It is important to teach this topic to enable students to develop a broad understanding of how their bodies function and what goes on inside the body to make this happen. We as teachers should nurture their natural curiosity. Throughout this lesson, students will develop their scientific literacy and skills, as well as developing the junior cycle key skills. This lesson will allow students to participate in active learning, which will deepen their sense of enjoyment in the learning of science. It is inevitable that during the lesson, both the teacher and the students may encounter some challenges. Some of the challenges the teacher may incur are: it is essential for teachers to plan and prepare in advance of class, making sure any links to videos etc. are working and their slideshows run smoothly. During tasks, it's a good idea to have a timekeeper in the class to make sure you don't go over. One of the biggest challenges for any teacher of a modern day class is differentiation. It is up to the teacher to ensure that every single student is included in the class, regardless of their educational ability or who they are. Some simple ways to engage all students include using a mix of higher and lower order questions. You could have additional work prepared for students who are more advanced, and even make simplified versions of tasks for weaker students. Pair work and group are also things that can be very challenging for teachers. There will always be complaints that a student wants to go with a friend or just wants to work alone. It is a good idea in class to purposefully select groups. Groups and pairs both need to be mixed ability so students can learn from each other. One of the most difficult concepts for the student to grasp may be the high content of scientific literacy throughout the lesson. As the students will be encountering lots of new words, a good idea to improve literacy skills would be to hand out a keyword sheet, such as that enclosed, where the students can write a simple definition of each keyword in their own words. Each time you come across a keyword throughout the lesson, highlight it to the students and give an explanation, so they are hearing the words as well as seeing them. A hook is an essential lesson starter. It should be used at the beginning of class to captivate the learners and grab their attention. It should engage the students and get them thinking about what could be in store for the lesson. For this lesson, a good hook would be to have the sound of a heartbeat echoing the room as the students enter. It is also used to activate students' prior knowledge. In this lesson, you, the teacher, could simply ask if the students have ever felt or heard their own heartbeat. You can also use it as an opportunity for cross-curricular links, asking, in PE, have you ever measured your heart rate? Or looked at the circulatory system in home economics? It is important in the beginning of the lesson, after your hook, to outline the learning intentions for the students and also agree the success criteria with them. The learning intentions for this lesson are as follows. Students can fully explain the circulatory system and its functions. At the end of the lesson, students should be able to explain what the circulatory system does using their own words and be able to list the functions of each part. Students should be able to work collaboratively to identify new keywords and terms. At the end of the lesson, students should have been able to successfully work in groups or pairs, listening to and learning from each other. Students will be able to illustrate the chambers of the heart and outline the functions of each, including the direction of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood flow. By the end of class, students will be able to draw and clearly label a diagram of the heart, which includes the pericardium, septum, aorta, superior vena cava, pulmonary artery and vein, ventricles, atrium and valves. They'll be able to use a diagram to indicate the blood flow using red and blue arrows and identify the different parts of the heart. We will now move on to the lesson itself and discuss the teaching and learning methods and assessment strategies that can be used throughout. At the beginning of the lesson, have students in pairs or threes take each other's pulses and write a hypothesis on what would happen when you exercise. After that, you could have students remain in their pairs and complete a think, pair, share exercise on the circulatory system. It is important during a think, pair, share exercise to allow enough time for the students to actually think. This exercise would give opportunity to have a class discussion where you, the teacher, could ask lower order questions such as what parts of the body are involved in the circulatory system, or higher order questions such as what may happen if someone is brain dead. It is the teacher's responsibility to ensure an open atmosphere so students feel comfortable answering questions. After the discussion, you can have students carry out some exercise and retake their pulse. They can then discuss the differences in the results. This will also incorporate the key skill of staying well. All of the tasks above allow the students to embed the key skills of communicating and working with others. To further develop the lesson, you can show a short video on the circulatory system and the heart. It can be a good idea to give students a worksheet to fill in while watching videos, so they don't get distracted and have something to focus on. You can continue to develop the class by displaying an image of the heart and going through the functions of each part of the heart with the students, also allowing them time to draw all required diagrams. To draw the lesson to a close, you could display an interactive heart on the board and have students choose a peer to locate a part of the heart they learned about. This is a form of assessment of learning and assessment for learning. Before finishing up the lesson, it is essential that you revisit the success criteria to ensure everything has been covered. You could have the students use the traffic light system to check in with them. You should also assign homework. For this particular lesson, it might be a good idea to have students transcribe their keyword sheets from class into their copies. So once again, they are reiterating everything they learned in class. We have now come to the end of the presentation. Thank you for watching.